Not every day you get to witness a rocket launch in the middle of the night. Since moving to this island, it was our first time seeing a launch after dark. A rare and special experience. People kept telling us how it's kind of like a second sun rising into the sky. And they were right. Unlike daytime launches, the way the sky suddenly lights up and glows as the rocket shoots on up, something we'll never forget. Welcome back to Inaka Vibes. I'm Stephen. Subscribe to our channel and give us a like if you wish. We appreciate all the support. We moved to the remote Japanese countryside in 2023, and every week we share moments from our daily life here. Just after 5 in the morning, and my wife and daughter are already out walking our dog Rufy on the beach close by. It's a bit early for me. Fresh sea turtle tracks again this morning. Feels like there were even more around than last year.
ここは産んでるはず。すごいね。これは新しいやつだね、きっと。
We're lucky to have the beach close by. It's a great way to start the day. Good morning. Still a touch early, but it certainly feels like we're right in the middle of summer now. The weather's been mostly hot and clear, and that midday sun is seriously intense now. My wife Yumi still has some of the ume salted plum she made last year, so with all this hot sun around, it's a perfect time to dry a batch out. She used to believe they all needed to be dried out at once, during a specific time of the year, especially around the Doyo no Ushi no Hi, which is considered the traditional day for drying ume in Japan. But after visiting an ume producing factory last year, she's actually very fond of their ume. She learned that it doesn't need to be so precise. Now, she simply dries them when the weather is good and it feels right. A much more relaxed and stress-free way of doing it, hey? It's our 3rd year growing summer vegetables, so I guess we can't call ourselves total newbies anymore. But surprisingly, our cucumbers, which grew really nicely the last 2 years, are not doing so well this season. No matter what we try, the plants just can't seem to get going. A little unfortunate because we really look forward to our cucumber harvest each year. Yumi follows a very natural, no watering method, but maybe they just haven't got enough moisture this year, as it wasn't a particularly wet rainy season. Oh well, all part of the learning experience, I guess. At least our mini tomatoes are doing better this time round. As for our aubergine, the leaves were completely eaten by caterpillars a couple of weeks ago, but they're bouncing back with a vengeance now. Plants can be surprisingly resilient. Looks like we'll also be able to collect some coriander seeds, hopefully plant them and keep the cycle going. It is hot out. Even our Japanese honeybee colony is gathering more outside the hive in an effort to keep cool. Next up on our DIY list is something we've been thinking about for a while. Time to dig. Okay.
Time to dig.
Building a little ramp for some skateboarding or surf skate practice. It always seemed a bit tricky, which is why we've probably put it off. But we figured even if it doesn't work out so well, it'll still be a good learning experience. We already decided that a certain edge of the yard would be a good spot to try and make it. So we started digging and shaping the area using the natural slope of the bank. I don't possess the same kind of technical brain as my wife, but I don't mind a bit of good old manual labor. There was some old piping at the back of the house which we cut down to size and decided to use as a sort of rail for the ramp. Yeah, reuse what we find. These old water pipes. We quickly realized that building something too big would be a lot to take on at first, so decided to start small and shape a section of the slope using mortar. A quick trip up into town to pick up the materials for making mortar. Even a small hardware store can be a huge help living on a remote island. One of the challenges living here is that heavy or bulky items often come with high shipping costs, so ordering online isn't always a great option. First, we made a wooden frame to shape the ramp. Then came what we thought would probably be the hardest part, mixing the mortar. Yep. We mixed quite a large amount of cement and sand, and it took a lot more time and effort than we imagined. And being noobs at this, we probably weren't even mixing it correctly, or maybe we should have done smaller amounts. I really don't know. The water ratio was pretty much a guess as well. I think we added too little water, which made the surface quite uneven. This is probably a good laugh for you guys out there that know about this stuff. I spent the whole time mixing while Yumi focused on applying the mortar. We kept adjusting the water amount as we went and eventually managed to get the job done. The surface is a bit bumpy, but we'll think of a way to smooth it out. Our first attempt at using mortar was definitely interesting. But again, a learning experience, and we already have some ideas to make improvements next time.
Good job.
Fingers crossed we'll be able to turn this into a fun little skating ramp. A slightly later than usual lunch of somen noodles. Great for summer, we often enjoy them during the hotter months. These particular noodles, Miwa Somen, come from the area around my wife's family home on the Japanese mainland and are our absolute favorite. This year, her mom even sent them to us in a beautiful wooden box. What a thoughtful gift. We're lucky to have shiso perilla leaf growing right here on our small farm to pick fresh when needed. Topped with some homemade umeboshi salted plum, a refreshing and tasty lunch.
No. I should be using chopsticks, sir. No.
Beautiful evening colors in the sky recently. And the sounds of the wildlife in the background reminds us once again of the quiet rhythm of life here in the remote countryside. To be able to watch the sun rise and then set in the evening, it's something we always try to be grateful for. Thanks again for spending a few minutes of your day with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Take care, and we'll see you next time.